Rain gang, what is going on? It's your boy Sutton Def and Simply AS10 here with yet another episode of the Purple Rain podcast. This is actually episode 93, so the Calais Campbell episode.
Yes, Dewan Edwards.
Yeah,
I'll throw it back for you.
You know, Simply AS10, he always going to come with the throwbacks, man. You got to just hope that you know what he's talking about. You know, I know we got a lot of younger fans on the, but yeah. Calais Campbell episode, first and foremost, man. He's a beast. So this episode is in dedication to him. You know, that's how we do it here on the PRP podcast. But make sure before, anything else, we got to take care of some housekeeping things. Make sure you go ahead and like this video. Also subscribe to the channel if you are new here. We greatly appreciate that. And then real quick as well, make sure you follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast, because you're going to get all updates for everything Purple Rain and Ravens as well. And then also you can follow us individually on Twitter or Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def, just like you see it down below. And then you can see also, you can follow Simply AS10 on Twitter or Instagram. On Twitter at Simply AS10 and on Instagram at simplyas10.prod. But most importantly, as I always say, go on YouTube and subscribe to the Simply AS10 YouTube channel. Best highlight channel in the business, man. You guys already know that. And the players, NFL players, are actually taking heed to that. No, let's talk about that for a second before we get into anything else. I'm gonna leave your handle down there just so you guys, if you guys are not hip to Simply AS10 yet, make sure you look into his videos, because there's actual NFL players who are asking for him to do highlight videos for them, and they're actually reposting them and posting them themselves. So that's amazing. So thank you. Great appreciation for our guy Simply AS10 here on the Purple Rain podcast, always.
And like we talked about it in the last episode, hopefully, maybe we can get some more special guests on here. That's that's a big goal. You know that. Wouldn't mind having another interview coming through. Maybe another Ravens player. I don't think anybody's complaining with that. And also about the Instagram, we've had the interactive polls. That's the biggest thing, because we'll pull you up on screen. You kind of just shape out the whole landscape of the episode. With the questions we ask, we bring in how, like for the John Harbaugh, the extension. How did you like it? How did you not? We put it up in the last episode. So remember, follow us on Instagram.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you guys can see the Rain Gang is in the live chat right now. But before we get to the live chat, if you're part of the hashtag replay gang and you're watching this, we appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you leave a comment down below with the hashtag replay gang, and any thoughts, comments, concerns, anything, questions that you have for us down below. Make sure you leave those down there, because we love you guys so much. But in terms of who's here in the live chat, part of the live Rain Gang, we appreciate you guys so much. We love you guys. We got our guy K-Dog, Mod K-Dog, man, Purple Rain Pioneer here. Per usual, says, yo, what's good, Rain Gang family? What's good, K-Dog, man? Appreciate you for coming through. I hope all is well. Yolanda B, how you doing? Says, good evening, PRP. Hope everyone is well. Thank you so much, Yolanda, for coming through. J Prime 235, what's going on, man? Bryce is asking me if I'm about to get twists. I don't know about twists, man. My hair is getting kind of long, I will admit. I don't know if you all you guys who started watching Purple Rain podcast from episode 1, my hair was super short. Yeah, go back to episode 1, 2, 3. Like some of those earlier episodes, my hair was definitely way shorter.
And the quality was terrible. I'm
the quality was terrible too. Pac fan says, hello everyone. How you doing, man? New faces.
Never
seen you around these parts. Yeah, welcome to the Rain Gang family. We're a big happy family here. We appreciate all you guys. Gerald is in the house. Gerald says, what's up, my good friends at Simply AS10 and Sutton Def and PRP Gang. Gerald, we appreciate you for coming through each and every time, man. Can't wait to hear what you have to say about what we have to say and what about the Rain Gang has to say as well. Let's see. Raven Ron in the house says, what up, PRP? I hope Rams win. F the Bengals, purple and black only. I don't know if I'm feeling you right there, Raven Ron. I know y'all see this coat I got on right now. It's feeling a little bit burr. It's feeling a little burr. You know what I mean? It's feeling a little burr. I don't know if y'all agree with me on that one. I took a lot of heat on Twitter the other day for saying that I was rooting for the Bengals, and there's a bunch of Ravens fans who follow me who are against it, like, oh, why are you rooting for them? Like, oh, trash that you're rooting for them. You guys can see my co-host over here, Simply AS10. He doesn't agree with me either. He doesn't think I should be rooting for the Bengals.
I'm not gonna hold it against you. It's
we can have a conversation about it later. We'll have a conversation about it. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that for sure. But I'm definitely rooting for the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. Lisa in the house, what's going on, Lisa? Yeah, and we've got a bunch of people. The whole Rain Gang is in full effect down here. I see Emmanuel in there, Black Daniels, X Lee, Tanja Bowman, Chris Reed, 410 Byron, I said Tanja Bowman, Bryce. We got everybody. Everybody's in here. So we appreciate all of you guys for coming out to this episode 93, the Calais Campbell episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure you guys go ahead and like this video before we get into anything else. And now, simply as 10, my guy Alex, we got to kick this video off with the most pressing news for us Ravens fans. Yes, the conference championship games were just the other day, and we want to talk about that, and we will. But first, we got to talk about what's most important. John Harbaugh had his press conference today, his season-ending press conference, where he addressed a lot of things. It was about 45 minutes long. I listened to it probably like twice just to make sure I was kind of getting the points from it. And me and Alex tonight, we're going to go ahead, or whenever you're listening to this, maybe morning, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this, we're going to go ahead and get into our biggest takeaways from that press conference with John Harbaugh earlier. And I'm going to go ahead and start, and then Alex is going to go ahead second. And then I want all of you guys who are watching live right now, and if you're not watching live right now and you're part of the hashtag replay gang, make sure you leave your comments down below on what were your biggest takeaways from the John Harbaugh press conference. So one of my biggest takeaways from the press conference, it was about probably, and I'm not doing like broad strokes here. I'm kind of going with like the specific things that I took away from it, because my guy Alex texted me earlier and he was like, yeah, it's basically a whole lot of nothing. And when there's a whole lot of nothing, you kind of got to go searching for that needle in the haystack. So that's what I was doing. So one of the needles in the haystack that I found was, it was about 30 minutes through, and he was talking about how halfway through the season, when we played that Thursday night game against the Dolphins, and how they blitzed the absolute hell out of us, and we had no answer for it. And our offense basically got dismantled and embarrassed on national television in front of the entire league. It was bad, right? And then he was saying that, like, I can't remember exactly what was the percentage of the time that the Dolphins blitzed us in that game, or at least the second half. I know it was like well over like 50% of the times, plays, right?
Yeah, they just brought blitz. I think if I'm gonna give you a number, probably over 60%, even more.
Probably. Okay, right. So probably over 60% of the time they blitzed us. And you guys can fact check us. I'm pretty sure it is around that, percentage though. So about 60% of the time they blitzed us. And then John Harbaugh, he went on to say something interesting. He said after that game, we spent about 5 to 10% of practice on offense trying to beat cover zero blitz. So I'm thinking to myself, if you were blitzed 60 to almost 70% of the time and your offense got dismantled like that on national television, why are you only allocating 5 to 10%, so a tenth of practice, to getting better at beating that, sort of defense? That's what really didn't add up to me. And I'm no NFL coach, but this is just an honest perspective from an honest football fan, and an honest Ravens fan. I don't understand that, Alex, I don't know if you agree with the philosophy error I think that there is there, but what do you think about that?
5 to 10%. I'll tell you this: half the time we didn't look like we were practicing at all. We come out to games, we look flat. I know you could say the same thing. We weren't scoring on our first possession. Were you really practicing, or are you just feeding us more BS that we've been fed the whole year? That's why I said it was a whole lot of nothing. There was being questions deflected. We saw the last press conference of the year, Harbaugh basically just cursed at reporters. It's really hard to interview him now. Yeah, I get you're frustrated, but 5 to 10%, maybe some weeks more you practice it, some weeks other, but you knew after that Dolphins game, they kind of cracked how to beat the Ravens offense. And the fact that's it?
Right, because it's not like we still couldn't stop it,
No, we
saw
saw
after that. Right.
Yeah, sending Pat Ricard out on routes when he should be blocking. What? Come on.
Right, exactly. And then also just kind of getting into like the title of this video, and I'm sure you probably have a lot to say about this as well. One of the questions that was asked very early on in the interview, Greg Roman, is he coming back? Is he a lock to be back? And, what makes you think John Harbaugh, he's the right guy going forward for this offense? And John Harbaugh, he basically said, he's excited to have Roman back. He expects Roman to be back. He expects Roman to want to be back. So that means, like, in Harbaugh's mind, all systems are a go with Greg Roman. Everything is fine, and we can continue to just go on like nothing is really wrong with our offense. But most, like you said, like you actually texted me earlier, most of the interview, most of the press conference was kind of about the offense, right?
Yeah.
And things
but we fired the defensive coordinator.
Right.
I'm not going to say that I'm cool with the signing. We talked about it in the last episode of Purple Rain, but at the same time, it's like there was rarely any questions about the defense, all about the offense. but you're keeping the coach, you're keeping the coordinator. Where does it make sense? I just need to know.
Yeah. And then also, like, he got into this later in the press conference. He was talking about how, like you texted me earlier as well, like guys were running wrong routes and stuff like that. He was blaming receivers on execution, things like that. But at the end of the day, when you have an offensive coordinator who is so locked in on having a good running attack, and there's no sort of like comparison, what if it being equal between like having a running attack and then having a passing attack, it's just so lopsided. It's so lopsided, and that kind of speaks to the lack of preparation that these guys have when they go out on the field. You see guys running the same routes. You see guys running the wrong routes, running into
crowding
each other,
one side
like
of the field,
crowding one side of the field. That's coaching. Like if you're the coach, you are the person who puts the chess pieces in the right place to succeed.
I want to add on the underutilization of Rashad Bateman. I'll just put it out there. He wasn't getting enough snaps. He was only being used when it was scripted, wasn't being used off script. That's a problem there. We're going to talk about first round wide receivers. Where are the Bengals right now without Jamar Chase? They're not in the Super Bowl. They're probably maybe a wild card game.
Right.
But they're not where they are now without Jamar Chase. Their first round receiver. We drafted him in the first round for what? Come on.
Right. Exactly. So, there's a lot to really unpack here. But I want to get into Alex's biggest takeaways from, the press conference. Alex, what did you really take away most from what Harbaugh said earlier today?
I don't even know if he talked about it. I saw it was on Twitter. The fact that our wide receiver coach, T. Martin, is interviewing for the Bills offensive coordinator position.
Yeah. Heard about that.
You're telling me
right.
The Bills, we're talking about who I think was the best team in the AFC. I really do. I think they were the best all-around team, but they didn't make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Lose their offensive coordinator. Amazing offense. Top 3 quarterback, top 5 quarterback.
Yep.
And they want to interview, I should say, our wide receivers coach.
No,
not our coordinator. Oh, T. Martin, his first year with the Ravens, that took a 32nd ranked passing attack to what I don't know what it was with Lamar Jackson, but it was top half the league.
Yeah.
Same. Everybody was the same minus Rashad Bateman and the Sammy Watkins. T. Martin. Oh, interesting. But where's Greg Roman getting these interviews? There's an astronomical amount of head coaching positions, and he hasn't garnished one interview. Hines Ward got an interview for a head coaching position. Hines, what the fuck does he do?
Oh my gosh.
And John Harbaugh's stubbornness is going to cost him his job. I'm sorry, we're going to have another flat year of offense. We're going to have Lamar Jackson on a free agent. If he wants to even sign the deal, and he's going to lose his job. So I really hope that him sticking up for his boy, Greg Roman, really helps him out. Because you guys are both going to be on the unemployment line in about 365 days.
Right.
I hate to say it.
Yeah. And like he also talked about how there's just so much trust, and like honest conversations between him and his coaches and things like that. And it's just like, how much can you really trust like what Greg Roman has been producing on offense the past couple years?
The vault?
Right. How many times have we heard about the vault, forging a new identity, whatever it may have been, and it never came to fruition.
Are they not watching these playoffs? No, DeCosta's too busy at the Senior Bowl right now. I've had it with him too. I'm sorry. Like this, I need to see something because right now, the Ravens, are we even a top 5 team in the conference?
I don't know. Honestly, we're on the edge. Yeah, we might be right on the outside looking in, but if we are in it, we're probably number 5. I would say we are honestly right now.
That's all.
I would say we are. Yeah. So those are some of our biggest takeaways from the Harbaugh press conference. We definitely want to see what you guys have as your biggest takeaways and some of the questions that you guys have about it as well. Let's see what you guys are saying down here. Let's see. Our guy Gerald. Let's get our guy Gerald up here. It says, has anyone asked the question why 2 of the Ravens' most prolific Hall of Fame players of all time are not even mentioned for a coaching position? So I guess we're talking about Ed Reed here.
And, I know Ed wants a defensive coordinator position, if anything. I understand that, but I think that work your way
through the
get
ranks.
secondary. Yeah, and then I just don't even think Ray wants to coach. I'll be honest.
Right.
But I get what you're saying. But wow.
Yeah, maybe somewhere down the line, those guys will develop some sort of passion for. I mean, because you can be a coach into your later years, of course,
Yeah.
And these guys know the game, of course. But I just don't think that right now would be necessarily the best time, especially not for Ray, because like I said, we don't really have any evidence that he really wants to do it. And then Ed Reed, like I said, he really doesn't have much experience in doing it, So, let's see what else you guys are saying here. We got a guy, Emmanuel says, if Harbaugh is only a head coach because he can motivate, why isn't Ed Reed a coach? Yeah, I mean, see what you're saying, but
sometimes it feels like Harbaugh is a glorified cheerleader, and I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Oof, yeah.
I love this team to the death of me, but it's really hard to support some of the things like I talked about. There's a huge disconnect right now between the fans and the front office. No matter how much PR you want to do on Twitter, it's not gonna fix it. Have you checked your replies to your tweets, Ravens? Please go and look. It's not good.
Yeah.
They're getting ratioed by fans. That's not good. That's not good.
That's embarrassing, right? All right, let's see here. Black Daniels, let's go ahead and bring him up. Thank you so much for joining the show. Says, word on the street says Urban would be the successor should Roman get canned. We need a fresh offensive mind.
In-house signing. Imagine my shock.
Right, yeah. I mean, like you said, man, like Harbaugh said, actually, the trust and the honest conversations, quote unquote, and I'm putting air quotes around that for sure. Like it just speaks volumes to how much of a good old boys club it really is in Baltimore.
The country club.
It is, if you're in, you're in, and if you're in, you're good. But if you're not, then hey,
with your lemonade and the umbrella on it.
Exactly. All right, let's see. Our guy Savig says Lamar gets treated like shit, man. Pay that man. Fire Greg, stack that O-line, and don't pay for a big name wide receiver. Lamar was an MVP with Seth Roberts. Just kind of getting this off his chest here. Thank you so much, Savig.
He had a good line. I mean, I still want us to add an X receiver, I believe, a big body, a 1-year deal. I think you got to have somebody in there with Bateman, with Hollywood, with Duve, with Prochet, with Tylan Wallace. There's some free agents out there, but he's making a point.
He's making a point, but I don't know. To your point, though, I think Bateman could probably be that X receiver. If he,
he just can't be on the field. I mean, he might start getting double teamed, and then who else do we have?
I mean, yeah, but you look at what he was able to do this year, like some of the 50-50 balls that he caught, which is something that we really, really wanted from one of our newer receivers. But then Rashad Bateman, he also came out and said going in the NFL and just feeling like the physicality is so much different from college, and he knows that he needs to bulk up over this offseason. So I feel like he gets bigger. He's already a sneaky tall guy. We kind of saw side by side a couple months ago him next to Devin Duvernay, and we saw how noticeably taller he was than he was. So it's if he bulks up a little bit, I definitely think he could develop or emerge as that kind of X receiver and that guy that we've really been wanting.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have another one, kind of like how the Cardinals got AJ Green with DeAndre Hopkins. Because I mean, I'm just after this past season, God forbid any injuries. I don't want to think about that, but if the price is right, I want to be against it too.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. We got a guy Isaac in here says, "What's up, fellas? Is Harbs actually getting extended or not? He said he had no talks with Steve Bisciotti. What's up, Isaac?"
I don't even know.
I really don't know. I feel like who dropped that news? The news was dropped
Jamison
by
Hensley.
everybody official, right?
Jamison
and then everybody else followed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure they've extended him. But yeah, we got a guy King in the house says, "Yo, what's good, King? Thank you for coming through. Appreciate you for joining this stream. Make sure you guys go ahead and like this video. Give it a big thumbs up on YouTube." Yes. And if you're new here and you're enjoying this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button because there'll be plenty more where this came from in the future. The offseason is just getting started for the Ravens, and we know the news train is going to continue to roll all summer long. So you guys are going to stick here with the Purple Rain podcast, man. Let's see. Lisa says it would be a shame to lose T. Martin. Yeah, man, and it would be kind of like to Alex's point again, there's a reason. There's got to be a reason, a good reason at that that the Bills, one of the best led franchises in the league right now, wants to get T. Martin, our wide receivers coach, as their offensive coordinator to lead and coordinating offense led by Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and Dawson and anybody else that they get in there as well. Gabriel, anybody, like they have a really good offense, right? So it's no coincidence that they want him. So it'd be a shame to lose him. I definitely agree, Lisa.
Yeah.
All right. So let me see what else you guys are saying. We'll take a couple more comments here before we move on to a couple other things. Let's see. Unpopular facts here, giving an opinion, says the Ravens organization has turned into the retirement home of the league for players and coaches that are post their prime and has no more opportunities.
Oof. I mean, you can definitely make a case for some of the signings we made last year and the years prior. How many guys will we sign and they just didn't do anything after they left here? Willie Snead, John Brown, that's 2. Michael Crabtree, could be Justin Houston, could be Sammy Watkins. I mean, I was happy when we got both of them. Didn't pan out how we wanted to, but do you think they'll be a starting caliber player on other teams?
I don't know. I really don't know. Like, especially with Sammy Watkins, just because of like his availability issue. Like, we went into the season knowing that would be a thing.
The first 4 weeks he was doing his thing. He showed up against the Bears, and after that, what happened? We were both hyped for him.
Right. Yeah, we were. Let's see another thing here. Dylan chimes in and says, "Why did they hide the truth on Lamar's injury?" Alex, I know you had something to say about this.
Yeah. So we're talking about, maybe if we make the playoffs, Lamar will be back. We can somehow maybe make a run. Well, if we were to make the playoffs, we would have been a first-round exit, like we have been in prior year, 2019, and it would have been Tyler Huntley starting quarterback. It wouldn't have been Lamar Jackson. Lamar isn't even fully healthy now. Yeah. And I think it's just disrespectful the way this team treated him throughout the injury, because it's like, he might have a chance to play. He's questionable. We'll see how he's moving around. We'll see if he even practices. He practiced. He couldn't even walk. It's just, if I'm Lamar, I'm taking that as a sign of disrespect too. I did like I said, there's just this disconnect now. Don't piss off your players. You already pissed off the fans.
Yeah, I definitely agree there, man. Like, I don't know why there's not that transparency. It's like, you knew the guy was hurt. You knew he was hurt, and you still kind of like trudged along, kind of trudging everybody else along, along the way, basically giving us the idea that he may come back if we, do potentially make the playoffs. And just finding out now, like in hindsight, looking back on it, that it was never really going to be a possibility is definitely disappointing that they, withheld that information from us. But maybe it was for good reason. Who knows?
December 12th was the last time he played.
Yeah.
Just remember that.
Big shout out to you guys. We have over 70 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Episode 93, the Calais Campbell episode of the Purple Rain podcast, featuring your boy Sutton Def and Simply AS10. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you are new.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and see what Jonathan Washington Jr. has to say here. It says, Ravens are always going to be a good team that never gets over the hump as long as we have Harbaugh. He says he wants to compete for a Super Bowl, but is too stubborn to make the necessary changes.
And if we want to talk about necessary changes, the Rams have been in the championship window now for 4 years?
Yeah.
They're finding a way. They're smart with the cap. They make the right signings, and look where they're at again.
Yeah. Back in the bowl. And it kind of goes to show, like going all in is like a big thing that you need to do. Like, look at the Chiefs. They were in the conference championship again this season. Look at the Rams. They're back in the Super Bowl again. Both of those teams went all in and did what they need. Bills, same thing.
The Bills are a prevent defense away from being in the AFC championship again.
Literally. So it's like when you look at all those teams and see like what they did to like construct their roster and really compete for a championship, you don't really see too much of the same with the Baltimore Ravens. And it's a shame that we did have a couple of we do have a couple of veteran guys on our roster who could have made a big difference in the postseason. Because veterans make the most difference in the postseason because they're experienced. They've been there, they've done that. So it's a shame that we didn't get Justin Houston. It's a shame that we didn't get Calais Campbell, guys like that, Pernell McPhee to the postseason for them to be able to step up and make plays like they know how to in January, So
And I'm
it's
even
definitely
go back.
sucks.
The 49ers, with the quarterback who wasn't supposed to play every single game this season, they made it to the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Jimmy Garoppolo, they drafted a quarterback third overall, and they still made it to the NFC Championship. That's insane.
Right. Yeah. You're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right there. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. Black Daniel says, hit that like button. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you. Talk to him. All right, let's see. I saw something in here. Adeep Mahmood chimes in here, says, I feel like Roman is getting phased out of the future plans. Look for former Ravens assistant, DBLB wide receiver and running back coach, and current Michigan quarterback coach Matt Weiss to be Roman's replacement. Okay.
I'm getting. I thank you for that. But if this were to happen, I'm getting tired of this Michigan BS, man. I'm really man. Bro, hire Jim. I'm sure Jim has a spot on this coaching staff at this point. Why not?
Yeah, that's what I said. I literally tweeted that the other day. I was like, at this point, I don't see why he doesn't just hire your brother. Just get your brother in the building. Since obviously you value his opinion on his evaluations of guys so much. So I don't know. Let's see. Our guy Bills chimes in here, says, he asked this question: should we be preparing for life without Ronnie Stanley?
I think so, 100%. He's telling us the same story we heard last season with Ronnie Stanley. He's going to work over the offseason, and hopefully he'll be back before training camp. He'll be back, won't look the same, probably get shut down again.
Man,
just seeing that this year, why didn't you wait?
Yeah.
Why?
You're right. And with that being said, do you think that we should draft the left tackle with the 14th pick?
I think the line for sure. I don't know where. Don't know what's going on with Bozeman. But who's really against that at this point to protect your quarterback?
Well, I mean, I honestly think it's got to be left tackle, because we saw Villanueva. He really did not put anything good for us at all on film. I mean, he definitely allowed the most pressures on Lamar Jackson, the most sacks, everything like that from top to bottom. And Harbaugh said in the press conference, he said Villanueva, he had his best 2 games of the season in the last 2 games. In the very last 2 games. That's what he said.
Okay.
So,
week 2 didn't happen against the Chiefs?
Right.
Jeez, man.
I don't think that he should be back, but I definitely think that we should draft some young talent that we can develop at left tackle, because we need somebody there to protect Lamar's blind side, especially if we want him to be able to get back to that MVP status and passing the football. We do have our first super chat donation of the night coming from Jabari Cruz Ellis. Thank you so much for making it rain here on episode 93 of the Purple Rain podcast. We appreciate you so much, my man. It says, what's up, Purple Rain gang? Harbs better have Roman on a short leash next season. Also, Lamar's revenge tour is definitely happening next season.
Need it to be. Need it. Big time.
Yeah.
I mean, but we said this about the short leash last year. I know. Remember, you were like, well, let's say we're not looking good through week 4. Do you think we'll keep him? I mean, granted, through week 4 this year, 3-1. The only game our offense looked shaky, I'd say, was that Lions game, but we had 3 drop touchdowns. Yeah. The Raiders game, we put up enough points. The line couldn't protect Lamar. The defense sold. Week 2, somehow beat the Chiefs. Week 3, 2 or 3 drop touchdowns from Hollywood and Sammy. Week 4, a comfortable win over the Broncos. Week 5, the Colts game? Came back. And then week 6, the Chargers game. Yeah. It was going well, but you still saw. I mean, I think no real Ravens fan was expecting us to keep that going after 8-3, but nobody saw a 6-game losing streak at the same time.
No, you're right. Absolutely right about that. And like I said, having Roman on a short leash next season doesn't really seem that it's going to be that way, especially considering what Harbaugh said. Again, he said he was excited to have Roman back as offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. And
probably Jim put in a good word for him.
Yeah, I had to be right. But I don't know if even John Harbaugh came off or realized that comes off as just kind of tone deaf, especially considering that this is a results driven league, and we have not produced those results on offense, so it's
last in the AFC North.
Right.
All the injuries. I mean, I get that. I really do get that.
Right.
Just dumb decisions.
So where's the accountability is the thing,
When has it ever been accepted in recent history with this franchise?
Right. Exactly. So yeah, thank you so much, Jabari Cruz Ellis, for your super chat donation. We appreciate you. Let's see. We have Cam Neal in the building. Says hashtag
The goat.
PRP.
The
GOAT,
goat.
man.
Thank you, Cam.
Appreciate you for coming through. All right. King, our guy King says there's no way we can let Coach T. Martin leave. He has to replace Roman.
I mean, you saw what he made our receivers an actual threat.
Right.
Even with guys hurt, they were making plays.
I don't know why. Like, is it not clicking to the Ravens? Like, if the Bills are calling T. Martin to be their offensive coordinator, why aren't the Ravens thinking, hey, well,
they're better than us?
Yeah, right. They're better than us. Exactly. They're better than us. And if they're thinking that they can improve their offense by hiring one of our guys who's lower on our totem pole, why don't we just keep that guy and move him up?
Don't make too much sense now, son. Don't make too much sense.
I might hurt him. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows, man? Who knows? Hopefully we don't get rid of him. Hopefully we retain him.
It sounds like Give Me Your Dog has a couple of cents to say. Throw in there.
Yeah. Exactly. Kali says, "What's up, fellas? What's up, Kali? Thank you for coming through." All right. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on with the John Harbaugh press conference?
No. I know tomorrow we get Mike McDonald.
Yes.
And Friday we get Eric DeCosta. So got that on the way.
Yes, that is going to be Mike McDonald. I'm excited for that one to see what direction he kind of wants to go in with this defense. I hope somebody asks him, like, what kind of players is he most excited about? Like, I don't know what he's necessarily going to say, but it'll definitely be interesting either way. We got our guy Engraven in the house. Says Wednesday we get Mike. What's up, Engraven,
Wednesday,
man? Big shout out to Engraven, man. Just reached 50,000 subs
the big 50
on YouTube. The big 50. Big 50, man. So big shout out to Engraven, man. Just doing it big and just an inspiration to definitely all the Ravens YouTube for sure. So we appreciate you for coming through.
Yes.
And just doing what you do. All right. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and transition into the next segment that we have. So we talked a lot about the John Harbaugh press conference. Let's talk about some of these conference championship games, man, because they went crazy. Crazy. They did not disappoint.
We talk about the Ravens and before we get into it, like our 2-point conversions. Can you imagine the Ravens fan base if we go what the Chiefs did with 5 seconds left and we avoid the 3 points? You don't take those 3 points against the Bengals and you get stopped behind the goal line, go up 21-3. That 3 points changed the whole game. They take that 3. I mean, that gave the Bengals some hope. Just imagine how we are, with the 2-point conversions and a meaningless regular season game when you think of it against the Packers. I mean, now it was meaningless, but then it meant a little bit. But just imagine just how mad it would be, the toxicity there would be. I thought about that. I'm like, wow, wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. Somebody saying in here, JD Killswitch says Chiefs fumbled the bag.
Yep.
Black Daniel says Mahomes sold. Man, I don't know what happened to the Chiefs offense in the second half, man. They just did not look anything like what they looked like in the first half. I honestly think what happened was they got up so much on them, and it was just looking so bad for the Bengals. It was looking terrible for the Bengals.
I was having a feel. Eli Apple was getting burnt. I was running around my living room screaming. I'm like, oh my, this is beautiful.
Right. It was crazy. Like, and then, CJ Ozama, he went down with the injury, definitely prayers up to him. Hopefully he can recover soon. But that really seemed like it was going to be like a killer for him, just kind of like mentally, as a team. One of your guys goes down, you're already down 18. It just kind of feels like your back is up against the wall. And they storm all the way back. Joe Burrow and the Bengals storm all the way back, despite their shaky offensive line. And that's something that I really wanted to like kind of focus on, because the Ravens also have a very shaky O-line. But Joe Burrow gets it done. Gets it done, man.
And they played, surprisingly, they played well. I'm not going to say they played great, they played well compared to that Titans game. Listen, if the Titans don't have Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, they aren't even in the Super Bowl, which is crazy. They beat Derek Carr and Tannehill. I mean, that's just crazy. And then just yesterday, I've never seen Patrick Mahomes play that bad in a half. He was honestly, he looked like a rookie that was scared. He looked like an undrafted free agent starting his first ever game in the conference championship. He didn't know what he was running around back and forth.
Oh man.
And then I've never seen him just be that bad, but he was bad. And I would expect the criticism that we see from other quarterbacks to be given to him, but it won't happen. But that, like I said, that was just the worst game I've ever seen from him. It's terrible.
Yeah, it was definitely bad. He was not getting the ball out at all. Like you said, he was running around, kind of running in circles. It kind of seemed like at times,
wasting time,
trying to buy more time, and then running out, and it was just bad. It was just bad. But yeah, I mean, all credit and all shout out goes to the Bengals, man, because they stormed back. They made it happen. Joe Burrow made the necessary throws. Jamar Chase was Jamar Chase per usual, man. And like, that's just another thing, like that connection, that Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase connection. I said it before. It's very Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams-esque, and it is in our division. More importantly, that is in our division, and it's here to stay, for a very long time.
So now let's just be honest. The Bengals are better than the Ravens. The Steelers had a better record than the Ravens. I mean, you don't know what's going on with their quarterback, but that just kind of leaves the Ravens like, what are you doing? Like you said, this is the biggest offseason for us.
Yeah.
I mean, forget the injuries. I mean, you got to make some moves. You got to make the right moves, and that starts with drafting. Because look at the Bengals. They've hit on their draft picks. How much of their offense have they drafted? Damn near all of them.
You're about to say, yeah, definitely a healthy amount.
Skill possession players.
Right.
Like, just they've drafted them all. They're not signing some guy off the street to play receiver.
Yeah, and I saw a tweet from Coach Evans. Shout out to Coach Evans. He was talking about how, like, to your point, how the Bengals really hit on their draft picks. And he was talking about they should have taken Penei Sewell with that, third or fourth pick that they had?
I think fifth
pick, something like that. But instead, they took Jamar Chase. And a lot of people gave them flack for that. Like, yo, you have no O-line. And we gave them flack for that. I'm pretty sure, like, when we were sitting here doing the live draft stream. But it just really goes to show that, like, these talent evaluators, these scouts, like, they're really important. They're really, really important because somebody saw something in that guy that said, like, hey, like, I know we don't even necessarily have the star left tackle, or whatever yet, but we need this guy. We need this big playmaker on our team, and he's showing you what he's doing with drafting him.
So, college teammate.
Yeah, man. Like, that connection is crazy. But we do have another super chat donation to get to. This one's coming from our guy Gerald. Again, man, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you each and every time. Just pulling up from downtown and just supporting us each and every time, man. We appreciate it. We can't say it enough. But Gerald says, this past regular season, I had so much hope in the Ravens offense, but like in time past, this team has failed once again. To be honest, I don't have too much hope for next season. Hashtag, I hope I'm wrong.
I'm there with you, Gerald. I'm at the point, like, I'm just enjoying the game. I didn't fall in love with the team. I fell in love with the game. I'm, tired of getting too upset over this team on social media, just fans going back and forth. Bro, nobody has the time or energy for that anymore. You can't control it. And so I'm right there with you, Gerald.
Yeah. Definitely feel you there. But for me, I definitely think us getting a lot of those guys back from injury, I think that can definitely bode well for us next season, because like we always talk about, man, we were only like a couple points away from winning a lot of games this season. So I think, getting some of those star players back might be the deciding factor next year where we can pull out some of those close victories, But yeah, thank you so much, Joe, for your super chat donation. We appreciate you so much each and every time. We really do. Let's see. Falou chimes in here, says, did you guys see what Rashad Bateman posted on Twitter about Eli Apple? He clowned him. Yeah. I did not see that.
He retweeted, it was a burnt toast. A couple of burnt toasts. That was Eli Apple.
Got you. All right. Yeah, I mean... But yeah, just kind of talking about the Bengals a little bit more, like, and I tweeted this earlier as well, like, the Bengals being in the Super Bowl, if anything, should light a fire under the Ravens.
It should.
To make something happen next season. It's like, you think about it, like, you got a third-year head coach, a second-year quarterback, and a first-year star wide receiver.
Rookie contracts, by the way.
Contracts. Cheap labor. And they're getting it done with that. They're getting it done.
What's your excuse?
Exactly, Alex. What is your excuse? So, that's, man, I really do hope that we come out next season with a chip on our shoulder, the biggest chip on our shoulder.
I want like the Ultra Dorito on our
Right.
shoulder. Like,
Yeah. We need something. We need extra large, party size. Give us a whole bag.
Yeah.
We'll take all the chips, literally. But yeah, man, that definitely should happen next season because there's no reason that we can't do or produce the same results that they are. There's no reason, especially with an MVP quarterback.
And I'm gonna go to the other game, the Rams and Niners.
Yeah.
Just again, Deebo Samuel did not touch the ball the final 12 minutes of the game. Your best player on the team did not touch the ball. That right there is insanity. Absolute insanity.
Yeah. That game was very interesting to me, especially down the stretch. It just kind of felt like the Rams were kind of like meant to win it. I don't know what it was.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, and like I don't know. Like I talk about the Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase connection, the Matthew Stafford to Cooper Kupp connection is something else too, man.
The Matthew Stafford to Odell Beckham Jr. connection.
That too.
Like Odell, when I'm talking about, you make those mid-season moves, that trading for Von Miller, that signing Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
And guess what? They're gonna be back next year. They have the cap to sign them. But I'm always hearing about, they're this is their year to win it, or it's not gonna. They're gonna be fine.
It's those moves. Von Miller, I don't know if he what his stat line was last night, how many sacks he notched or whatever. But I definitely do know that the other Odell Beckham, he definitely had 6 catches for like 113 or something like that.
Yeah, and like you said with the veteran, Von Miller I think he had a sack or two, but those veteran players got to show up in the playoffs.
Right. Yeah,
Von Miller showed up. Odell Beckham Jr. showed up.
Right, and they've showed up like these veteran players who have been acquired, mid-season or right before the season. These kind of like all-in moves for an Odell Beckham, for a Von Miller. It's been proving to work.
For an Eric Weddle. I mean, he led them with tackles.
We saw it last night. Those type of moves work. We saw it last year in the Super Bowl, getting Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski. They had 3 touchdowns between the two of them in that Super Bowl.
Yep.
Those moves worked. They won them a championship. It's like that's what it takes,
And the crazy thing is that when they got Odell Beckham Jr., Robert Woods was healthy. They had Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Odell Beckham Jr. The next day is when Woods tore his ACL.
Yep.
Like they didn't even plan on this happening. Literally genius for it, but the fact that they were like, okay, we have 3 number 1 caliber receivers because Robert Woods, I believe, is the number 1 receiver. They had him. Yeah. I mean, and people don't forget too. There in 2018, Cooper Kupp was out the whole year when they made the other Super Bowl and they lost to the Patriots. Like they haven't been fully healthy, but they keep on stocking and reloading. Let's go. They let go of Dante Fowler. So okay, Dante Fowler can walk. Bring in Leonard Floyd. They traded for Jalen Ramsey. They got Darius Williams from us, stud corner. They let Troy Hill, John Johnson walk. They can lose talent, but they can regain that talent, and it's just crazy with the limited number of draft picks too. So shout out to just Les Snead and Sean McVay because they're doing their thing in LA. New stadium, playing in it. Shout out to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. We got our guy Ramey in the house. A big shout out to Ramey. What's going on, bro? Appreciate you for coming through. Says the Rams have a big window. Just curious to see if the all-in approach ever catches up to them, similar to the Saints.
Yeah. I mean, them trading Goff, Gurley letting go, Brockers letting go, that helps out too compared to what the Saints. I don't even know what happened. Like the Saints right now are just. Sean Payton said he threw up the peace sign meme and just got out of there. I mean, I can't blame him. That was just.
I mean, I don't blame him either. Like he's been doing it for such a long time.
Brought them a ship, made them a respected franchise.
Very respected. I think he definitely gets to ride off into the sunset, and nobody can really say, too much bad about him, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, when Katrina happened, that was the only positive in New Orleans. Was the Saints.
Yeah. So. Right, exactly. But yeah, just kind of other takeaways from that game, and then also kind of getting into how we think the Rams stack up against the Bengals going into the Super Bowl. Of course, we got some time to cover this because it's about 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, we got a lot of time.
Yeah, but just kind of like early thoughts about this game, like just knee-jerk reactions to like, oh, Rams versus Bengals, like I think this is going to happen. What do you think is going to happen?
Aaron Donald didn't show up in the last Super Bowl. I think he had one play. That was it. Listen, if you want to be the best player, You got to act like you're going to play like it. They're throwing him around as the greatest defensive player of all time. I mean, you can throw Lawrence Taylor in that conversation. You need to have a ring to prove that.
Yeah.
So I need 2 sacks, tackles for loss, maybe a fumble. Like, everybody knows 99. But if you want to be talked about as the greatest defensive player of all time, you got to get that ring. And with a weak Bengals O-line with Von Miller, with Leonard Floyd, you got to get some pressure on Burrow. And that's what the Chiefs didn't do. Chris Jones couldn't finish the plays. If he finishes those, we could have a whole different story right now. I think it was on 3rd and 7. You sack Burrow there, get the ball back.
Yeah, and that's another thing that just goes to show just how good Joe Burrow is, man. The escapability that this guy has, because he's not the most athletic guy. He's not a Lamar Jackson. He's not even close. He's not even close to a Josh Allen. You know what I mean? But like he can like, finagle his way out of pressure in a lot of different ways, and make plays after that.
What was that word you just used?
Finagle.
Oh,
You never
I
heard
love
of that
it.
one?
I know. I just love when it's used in the right context, like melancholy.
Yeah.
Certain words.
Yeah. But yeah, man, just shout out to Joe. I mean, like I said, man, I'm wearing this coat today because it was feeling a little burr outside today. And, I'm rooting for my guy, Joe Burrow, in the Super Bowl. But I do think it's going to be tough for him to get it done for the very reasons that you just stated, man. That defensive front for the Rams is nasty. And on top of that, they're hungry, too. I know Von Miller wants a ring. I know Aaron Donald wants his first, you know what I mean?
Jalen.
Like, Jalen Ramsey. These guys are going to be coming, they're going to be coming hard out the gate, for sure.
Odell. I mean, I know Odell.
Exactly. All these guys.
He went from playing
Cooper Kupp, like all these guys.
He went from
Matthew
playing for
Stafford.
Baker Mayfield. Listen, I apologize. I mean, listen, I'll be honest. He showed me something in the Bucks game. I didn't see a lot yesterday. Like, I'm talking, if you want to make a statement on, why you are worth it, like, go and win the damn thing, but make a statement. I'm talking 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Against, like, I'm still waiting for that Rams offense to actually explode like they did against the Cardinals, like a blowout type game. And they really could happen. But Odell Beckham Jr. and Cooper Kupp on Eli Apple.
Yeah. Exactly. So it might, I don't, like, the last thing I want to see is like a blowout.
Oh,
but
I don't. Take it. I have a cigar just smoking it.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I want to see Joe Burrow win the Super Bowl and take the cigar pic in the video in the locker room with the Bengals jersey on. That would be so sweet, man. That'd be so dope.
They're division rivals.
And you would have to make a video about it. You would have to make a video about it.
They're division rivals. You would never catch me rooting for the Steelers or the Browns or the Bengals. It's not happening.
But I bet you if you made a video about it, it'd be like one of the dopest videos you ever made. I promise.
It'd be dope, yeah. But I just can't do it.
I feel you. I understand.
I'll make a video, yeah, but I'm not rooting for him.
I got you. Regardless, it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a great game. I think it's gonna be a
for you, yeah. I hope it's a blowout for the Rams. I'll be honest. Like last year, dude, it was so nice to send that. Like the Chiefs are not winning it again, just relaxing. Give me that again.
I don't know, man. I kind of want the Bengals to take it home. I want them to do it. And I see somebody, Spooky J says, Sutton, why, bro? I mean, my reasoning has been like, I want the Bengals to represent the AFC North. I kind of look at it that way. And I don't see the Bengals as like a legitimate like foe. I really don't. Like an enemy. I don't. I see the Steelers that way. I wouldn't be cheering for the Steelers if they were in the Super Bowl.
They ruined my New Year's Eve in 2017. Tyler Boyd, do not forget that. AJ Green, he ruined our cornerbacks every single year. Ocho Carson Palmer.
But there's no bad blood, though. My thing is, there's no bad blood between the Ravens.
Ocho Cinco and Ray.
Ray lit up Ocho. When you compare that to the bad blood between the Ravens and the Steelers,
tomato emojis
it's nothing.
Tomato emojis.
It's nothing. Please. I'm sorry. It's nothing. And more importantly, Alex and the rest of the Rain Gang, all you guys that are listening, I really am rooting for the Bengals because of the players on the team. Forget the fan bases, forget the past, what happened in the Ravens versus Bengals games. But 2 players on that team, so Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, those are 2 guys that I like a whole lot. They haven't, said anything bad about the Ravens, anything like that. If anything, Joe Burrow said in an interview, he realized that he was really good and that the Bengals were a really good team that can contend when they beat the Ravens. So if anything, that's respect. If you ask me, you know. And he's been doing this thing all season. It's only his second year, and he's got a good story. He came back from, tearing his ACL last season, and now he's in the Super Bowl. You got to give the kid his props, and he has a swagger to him. He's a young guy, confident guy. He's cool. I like him.
Here's my thing. I like Burrow. He's been given his props. You were a number. Don't act like no underdog. You were the number one pick. You went undefeated with the possibly greatest college team of all time in 2019 with LSU. Damn near every LSU starter got drafted, plays for a team, starts for a team. He never has lost in the playoffs. There's no chip on his shoulder. There's a fucking crumb.
But come on, though. You can't say
that's
that.
Why, that's why I'm not going for the bank. I just can't. Like,
but you can't.
I like Burrow.
I don't think that's fair, Alex.
How is not fair? I'm not going to root for a team in my division.
I don't think that's fair for you to. I don't think it's fair for you to pull the argument of like you can't have a chip on your shoulder because you come from success. Look at Tom Brady. Going into his seventh Super Bowl. Brady was going into his seventh Super Bowl after already winning 6 Super Bowls. He was going into that Super Bowl with a chip on his shoulder, like he was the underdog,
yeah.
like people counted him out, and that's what motivated him. That's what it takes for some people.
I get that the Patriots let him go, but I'm saying growing up in Baltimore, like the Bengals have ruined so many of my Sundays. Bro, they can get their whole year ruined with the Super Bowl. I could care less. Bro, I hated Matt Stafford. You think I want to root for him? But he proved me wrong. Joe Burrow, I knew Burrow was going to be good. Everybody knew Burrow was going to be good. We knew Chase was going to be good. Like, knowing that the Bengals were going to be good wasn't a surprise, to be honest. We've talked about it. I mean, knowing the Bengals were going to be better than the Steelers, we expected that. We weren't expecting the Steelers to be good. But congrats, they made it to the Super Bowl. But I just can't root for a division rival. Like I'm telling you, in soccer, if you root for the division, like somebody else, like your rival, that's like a death sentence. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, people will get killed over that. Like, if somebody ever caught me catching for like Tottenham, and I'm an Arsenal fan, I would probably be beheaded. Let's be honest with you.
I think you can say with soccer being a very international sport, I won't say most soccer fans, but there are a lot of soccer fans, a vast majority of them that are kind of immoral. A lot of them don't have their heads on straight all the way. It's the game first and life second for a lot of them. So I don't know if that's like I don't know about that. We're a little bit more down to earth.
I've been in this predicament in the Champions League final, Liverpool against Tottenham. I didn't feel bad for Tottenham when they lost. They were a great team. But they're my rival. Never rooting for my rival. Ever. Do you think they were rooting for us against the 49ers? Us against the Giants? No. Why would I root for them?
Yeah.
Fuck them.
I feel you. I understand. Like I said, at the end of the day, man, I really like what Burrow and Chase are putting on the field, man. Especially as 2 young guys, second-year guy for Burrow, first-year guy for Chase. It's very respectable.
I will say this thing. I can respect the Bengals. That is no problem. Don't want to see them win. But I mean, think about teams that you really don't respect. I mean, what team? Let's say they make it. What do you not respect them? If there's a team with, I guess, criminal. Who is a player that you just really can't respect? Like who's been like a Vontaze Burfict? Perfect example. If Vontaze Burfict was still in the Bengals, then it's a whole different story. But no, respectable.
Right. Okay. I got you, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm stuttering here. We can agree to disagree. Let's see. Gerald gives you a score of 5, gives me a score of 4. I guess you win this one, but I
see the point. I see it. Just as a neutral, it's great for the game, though. I'll tell him that it's great for the game. We can agree on that. It's not the same teams.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it is great for the game, and I just love to see. The Bengals coming from where they come from, it's been poverty for a long time for them, and I know that like they're definitely happy to have some sort of turnaround, and it sucks because they're in our division and we should have been there. It should have been us. It really should have been. But at the end of the day, we did not do what we needed to do, and it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. So I got to respect what the Bengals are putting on the field, and that's why I'm rooting for them, man, because they came a long way. But yeah. We'll go ahead and just kind of move on from that. One last thing I wanted to throw in here. We forgot to bring this up earlier, Alex, but John Harbaugh, he did announce that TYUS BOWSWER actually tore his Achilles, and he did have a successful surgery, and hopefully he will be back and ready for the beginning of next season. But how are you feeling about that news?
Just kick us while we're down, I guess. They
Yeah.
had this beating us like a dead horse. Got the bat and
Yeah.
just beating us. It you don't feel pain anymore. If there's one thing about this season, it has made me just root for other teams and other players more than my team because it's just hard with all these injuries. Like you can only do so much, and with the
Yeah.
teams that are in the Super Bowl right now, they've stayed healthy for the most part. That's a huge part, just staying healthy, and the fact that we're keeping our strength and conditioning coach. I mean, how do you feel about that? We didn't even talk about that.
Oh yeah, that was another thing I wanted to bring up as well. I think it's just foolish, honestly. I think it's pure buffoonery on the part of the Ravens front office, and I just don't understand it because like you look at the past 2 seasons, we've suffered from a lot of injuries to a lot of important key players, and somebody has to be held accountable for the shortcomings of this team. I'm sorry, but like it just has to happen. I know injuries can be a freak thing, but like when it becomes a trend, that's when it becomes a problem. And just the fact that like the Ravens are just kind of turning a blind eye to that, and just not holding this guy accountable at all. Or I don't know if they are. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors. But, it doesn't seem like it since they're keeping him. They've announced that they are keeping him. Reminder that this is also the guy who, when COVID just started, he knowingly knew he was sick and, showed up to practices and things like that, meetings, and just
got a game rescheduled.
Exactly. So, and this is the strength and conditioning coach here. So his whole thing is like keeping guys healthy and whatnot. So I don't like the move at all. But what were you thinking about it?
It's just stupid. I mean, can you just think about how our season was ruined before week 1, and you're keeping what?
Don't understand it. Yeah.
Like we got the news that Peters and Edwards tore their ACL back-to-back plays. They had to stop practice. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let's not rush people back from injury either. Please.
Let's not do that either. Yeah, exactly. Spencer the Realist with another super chat donation. Thank you so much, man, for making it rain here on episode 93 of the Purple Rain podcast. It says the Chiefs lost, America won.
And the Cowboys too. I think that was the Cowboys loss was so satisfying. Just going back, that's when America really wins. Is when the Cowboys lose.
Oh man, it is, man.
Chiefs losing too.
I don't know.
No more TikToks though. That's good.
Yeah. We're free from that for at least another season, another year. But
and the screaming alien that's known as his wife.
Ooh,
spraying
the one who let's say popped the champagne on people, like,
and wonders.
I thought that was a little bit much, right? It's like
if there's one thing I can get behind the Bengals winning, it's that.
Yeah,
it's a nice piece of humble pie.
I know you're excited, but like, why are you pouring champagne on like hardworking people who are standing out there in the cold? Been standing out there in the cold for the last 3 hours.
You're gonna.
Right, like I know you guys won and everything, but it's just like, come on.
You didn't win the Super Bowl though. You won a divisional game. I agree, it was a great game.
And she didn't even like pop it like how you're supposed to pop champagne. Like she like kind of like
her
didn't
doing
shake
something
it up
wrong.
Enough.
Imagine my shock.
And it just like kind of pours out a little bit.
Right.
Man, that was bad. Anyways, I think that is going to do it for this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming through to this episode 93, the Calais Campbell episode. Make sure you like this video as well. And if you enjoy the content of this video and you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button too. Yes. And be sure to follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. And last things, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram, me at Sutton Def, like you see down there on the screen. On Twitter and Instagram. And on Twitter for Simply AS10, you can follow him just at Simply AS10. And on Instagram at simplyas10.prod. Yeah, and like I said, all in all, guys, we appreciate all of you guys for coming out to this episode. Even you guys part of the hashtag replay gang, we love you guys just as much. We're getting very close to 2,000 subscribers and episode 100. So you guys know what's coming. The giveaway is coming. It is on the horizon. And other surprises we're going to sprinkle in there too. So make sure you stay tuned and stay locked into PRP. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
And as always, thank you for coming through to episode 93 of the Purple Rain podcast. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
And never, ever forget to call God. This has been PRP episode 93. We're going to catch you guys in the next one.